Hey Matt, you got a New Year's resolution this year?
Yeah, man, I think I'm gonna quit smoking this year.
But you don't smoke.
I just like picking a winner. That's like last year when both of us did the New Year's resolution to gain 15 pounds and look older. We're killing it at that, man. Hey, if you don't have a New Year's resolution, maybe this year plant more trees.
Hey y'all, and welcome to the Mr. Maple Show.
Konnichiwa, y'all. And if your New Year's resolution is to get more trees, you're in the right spot. It's the 10 at 10 for January 4th of 2024. We got some great trees here on the table for you. We're kicking off 2024 with a blast.
Y'all, I'm Tim. That's my brother Matt. We're at MrMaple.com. We add 10 new trees to our website every Tuesday at 10 a.m. So get excited. We actually had 20. Check out your weekly email.
All right, guys, let's kick off the new year with Jido Orange.
Y'all, Jido Orange is one of those weeping lace leaves, 3 foot by 5 foot in 10 years. Leaves out in the spring with some really nice orange color in the early spring.
This is one of my favorite lace leaves in the spring. Don't sleep on this one. That yellowish to lime green eye with that orange dark purple border. It really shows out in the spring, has something exceptional for it. It's also one of my favorite orange fall color Japanese maples. Exceptional for that bold orange, that brick bold orange going into those fall months.
If you get a chance, go check out our cultivar highlight on Jido Orange. We do one at Dr. Criticos's garden in Flat Rock, North Carolina in fall color. This is a lace leaf you're going to love because it stands out from your reds, it stands out from your greens. It's an exceptional lace leaf, and the foliage is pretty unique too. It's got real soft sublobes, and because of a real soft appearance out there with that weeping cascading habit.
How do you say the name, Tim?
You talking about Jido Orange?
I thought you were saying Juggalo earlier.
Jido, I think, is actually the correct way they pronounce it, and but everyone in the United States calls it Jido.
All right. All right, let's switch down here to this side. We got some tattoos.
Whew.
Starting out the new year with a new tattoo, y'all. These are a good tattoo to pick up too. Exceptional in the garden. This is basically a smaller, more interesting ruffled leaf looking MAA Yuboa with that tight, dense habit. Excellent tree to be growing.
Slower growing. I mean, this is a slow growing tree. Very tight, very dense. It fits in small spaces extremely well. And it's a great container plant because of its small, compact habit.
I sent one of these tattoo out last week to one of our favorite nurserymen, Billy Schwartz. Check out our podcast with Billy. He's always a hoot. He actually was there when this was named at Red Maple Nurseries. Exceptional plant.
Yeah, this is such a fun plant. I love it just because it just has that extra it factor. It's everything you love about MAA Yuboa, but it's got a little extra ruffle to it. And it's so slow growing, it's easy to use in the garden. I mean, tattoo, there is we call it bad tattoo that looks like a Kiyohime form. But this is the MAA form that everybody loves.
Here's a New Year's resolution for 2024. I'll quit trolling everybody with tattoo. I always tell them I don't know what TV show it's from. I know it's from Gilligan's Island. And yeah, pick up a tattoo day. Great plant.
Deplane.
What? All right, y'all. We got another amazing tree. This is a broom, Acer Pomatum Elizabeth.
Y'all, this was found by Skeeter Ryden, named after his wife, Elizabeth. It's a dense, compact red witch's broom. And the unique thing about this tree is it gives you some bright red spring colors, but my favorite time is right about mid to late spring when you start getting emerald greens in that red as well. It gives some color contrast on the foliage that is outstanding for a compact, more red Japanese maple.
If your New Year's resolution is to plant an Acer Pomatum Elizabeth, man, you picked the right video to watch. This is an exceptional plant. I love those purplish red colors it gets. It gets some weird violets going on in there. It really stands out amongst a lot of the other brooms for color pattern. Makes a great tree for the container garden or for the conifer garden. So if you want to put a little bit of deciduous splash in a conifer garden, witch's brooms are excellent for that. But by retaining that smaller, more compact habit, they can fit in really well with nice compact conifers as well.
Now, many of the witch's brooms, like many of the dwarf Japanese maples, you need to make sure you have good drainage. And that's exceptional. That's important with all Japanese maples, but it's really important with the dwarf compact witch's brooms. They just really don't like getting overwatered. And this is such a cool plant to add out there in the landscape because it fits in those smaller spaces.
All right, if your New Year's resolution is to plant an Akashat Suawa, we got the 10 at 10 for you. It's a good day for you.
Y'all, the original name on this is Akashat Suawa. Some people have called it Beni Shikatsu Suawa because it does go to more of the Beni colors than the Aka. But
yeah, Fred mixed that one up. Fred Hooks was going around with a different variety. I don't think that was quite the same as Akashat Suawa, and a lot of people assumed it was. I like Akashat Suawa, so I don't like changing names if it's been around a while. And I do think the form he was calling Benny was slightly different.
and I think it's too because sometimes people start to change a name like Shin Chisho or Chisho Improved,
Right.
and then people start jumping on board with it. But to me, stick with the old name. That's the name you
this
find in
one's
the
been around
literature.
since the 1700s, and Aka and Benny mean very similar things, so it's a bad idea to introduce one with Benny in there. A lot of what's being sold in the trade now as Benny Shigetatsu Suawa is AKA Shigetatsu Suawa.
AKA Shigatsu Sawa. Now, Akashat Suawa has this really nice sort of pink blushing that happens over top of it. It gets a creamy white with pink blushing, and it has more of this more compact dwarf habit than many of the other ghost types. It'll stay shorter, denser, and it has this sort of semi-pendulous habit to it, fitting in small spaces. It's not a traditional upright like something like Kasagiyama that may have a similar color pattern. It is a little bit shorter and a little more semi-pendulous in its nature.
Now this one will leaf out sometimes a little bit green, but what really makes it famous is that blushing of pink red over top of it. You get some exceptional shades going on in there. Giving this one a little bit more early morning sun, you can kind of pick those colors up. The name actually means, is it snipes flying from the early morning sun?
And this one means red snipes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's got that poetic interest to it. A lot of the early Japanese cultivars actually have poems that go along with them. It's such a cool reference. So there's actually a poem in Japanese literature that matches the Akashat Suawa.
And sometimes this one changes throughout the season. So you'll get some of this pink blushing and then you'll get some green reticulation in there later. And people often will say, hey, I think I got the wrong tree. But this tree ever changes throughout the season. And you can go to our website, see some of the photos and see what we're talking about, how the tree changes throughout the seasons. And so it's always looking different. And that's one of the things I like about Akashat Suawa.
It is the crane flying through the early morning sunrise.
Next up, we've got seedlings from MAA Yuboa that are grafted. The tag on there says MAA Yuboa Bonza.
So these are cool. The way that these got produced, Talon Buchholz sent us a whole bunch of weird Macawa seedlings to evaluate. Now we grafted from the whole set, so it's a mixed bag. Some are red, some are orange, some are green. There were a lot of different ones going on there. They were all kind of interesting to Talon. That's why we grafted everything from that set. So I like to let people know these are not the MAA Bonza that are for bonsai that are not grafted. These actually are a grafted tree. They're pretty fun though. They're kind of a grab bag of interesting traits of MAA Yuboa seedlings.
And if these weren't interesting, we would have been sent them to then graft and evaluate. So these definitely had some cool traits. You know, we selected the ones that we wanted to and continued those on for further evaluation. But y'all, there's definitely some killer stuff.
I've seen some people pull a few of these that I thought I should have held. So there's a grab bag of cool ones here. I've seen some that got out the gate at open house that were from this exact set. And I'm like, man, that was pretty dope.
So again, these are seedlings that Talon sent us, we grafted. And so they're not just a seedling from MAA, they're a grafted form of a seedling, but there's something that's going to add something unique and different in the garden.
Common denominator is all of them have a MAA Yuboa-like trait, and the colors are tons of variables there.
And that's one that, if you're a collector, something fun to add in the garden. If you like the MAA seedlings, definitely something you should try out. Guys, next up, we have Acer Pomatum Oshio Benny.
If your New Year's resolution is to plant an Oshio Benny, we've got the 10 at 10 for you today.
Now, this is a tree that's often confused with Oshu Benny, Oshio Benny. This is an upright red, holds its color fairly well, and has one of the best fall colors. It's extremely heat tolerant.
Excellent plant, one of Pat Dye's all-time favorites. Durable, exceptional foliage, just an all-around great medium-sized red.
And this goes to a bright orange red in the fall. I mean, this is an exceptional upright Japanese maple that's not used enough in the nursery trade. I mean, it's a little brighter, more picked up red. And it's a tree that I think people really need to use more. I mean, it is extremely heat tolerant.
Right.
And it does have one of the best fall colors. I mean, when I saw Pat would show me the fall colors down there in Auburn, Alabama, and he'd say, man, check out these orange reds. And they're outstanding.
I miss Pat. Pat was a fun guy. And we knew Pat Dye more from the maple side than from the football side. It's Pat Dye Field at Auburn University. Again, he was a coach a little bit before, my time watching him. But Pat was such a cool guy. We would go out with Pat in Alabama, and we'd walk into a restaurant. It's like the president came in. People would stand at attention for, the Auburn and Alabama football teams. They're like, they're like, you know, as good as religion down there in that area. So it was kind of crazy. People walked up to me and they go, "Do you know who you're sitting with? Do you know who you're getting to sit with?"
I remember being at that catfish buffet and people were literally asking me and Matt, they said, "Do you know who that guy is that you're with?"
Right. I miss Pat. He was a fun guy. We'd be down there visiting me and say, I got to go over to the stadium, take a few pictures. And so we'd be hanging out at his hunting lodge, and he'd leave and come back and be like, "What were you doing?" I was like, Bo Jackson's in town. Got to take a few photos with Bo. No big deal. It was just such a cool guy. Now, we do have a few celebrity clients from that down time to time. Pat Dye, one of our all-time favorites. He did pass a couple years ago, but just a great dude. Can't think about Oshiobini without thinking of Pat Dye.
So next up, we got Acer Pomatum Emerald Lace.
Great plant, guys. This one's exceptionally heat tolerant, exceptionally durable, exceptionally fast growing. This is a lace leaf that puts on a ton of width, not a lot of height. This one is a lot like Cereus, but the complete opposite in the shape. It's got the growth rate of Cereus, it's got the heat tolerance of Cereus, it's got the fall color and the spring color of Cereus, except they're completely opposite in shape and design. This is going to be short and wide.
Now, this was found by David Sabo in Charlotte, North Carolina. And before we were really producing Japanese maples like we are now, it was sent all the way to Oregon to Del Laux Nursery and was introduced by Del Laux. And it is so unusual and different because, like Matt said, it is more like a spreading out Cereus rather than an upright tree. It's one of those few lace leaves that's in that Palmatum subspecies Palmatum. I mean, we got Cereus and we got Emerald Lace, small leaf, smaller seed, but extremely heat tolerant because of that.
A lot of those people in northern Florida, you know, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, they really sing this one's praises for its durability. It's another one that kind of has that blue-green, of course, that emerald played into that blue-green type color pattern to it. Now, the fall is an exceptional bright red. You do have to stake this one if you want some height. Otherwise, it's going to be 3 to 4 feet tall, 5 to 6 feet wide, slow, or fast-growing, but all in width, slow to put on height.
Now, the thing I like about this tree is it's not your traditional lace leaf shape. The branches go laterally and then cascade downward, so it gives it a very unique shape. It does get some of that blue-green hues to it in the shade like that Cereus does, and it has an exceptional bright red fall color. This is a lace leaf that's fun to use out in the landscape, and if you're in the deep south, this is a tree you should definitely be growing.
Yeah, we've got these high grafted on a little bit of a standard, which gives them a great start to them. They can just spread out and get wide from there, and just an exceptional plant to be growing. Bringing back emerald lace. What you got behind you there on the floor, Tim?
Oh.
Let's hop over to some of these big guys over here. If your New Year's resolution is to plant a Bini Otaki, then man, do we have the 10 at 10 for you. We've got some great, these are 2-gallon XL Bini Otakis.
Now, Bini Otaki, the name translates as red bamboo. This is a selection by Edsel Woods, and you've probably heard the story before, but he would have these spaghetti-like dinners and auction off his seedlings. That's where Bini Otaki, which is also known as Ed Wood sometimes, Acer Palmatum Ed Wood, was introduced in the nursery trade. But a lot of people translate this, and I see it on catalogs all the time, as red bamboo.
Excellent plant, durable, upright. It's got that Leonard Lobelum style foliage. You've heard me say it once, you've heard me say it a million times, but I love Leonard Lobelums for that Asian gardening feel they have. They just have a relaxing, peaceful quality about them. And maybe it's that bamboo texture, but they just have something extra that just says, hey, sit back, relax, watch this tree blow in the breeze. It's got everything you want for a relaxing style garden feature. Now, Bini Otaki is heat tolerant, it's fast growing, it's a little faster than most of the other Leonard Lobelum styles. So typically this one puts on a little over a foot of growth a year. Bright, bold reds. Typically in the early spring you can get to a little bit more of a deep maroon. Now the bark on this one is a very dark, chocolatey bark as well, which I think gives it a really nice showy quality to the whole plant.
You know, I think we should change this name to Sojo Otaki. No, I'm just playing, totally playing. The colors on this are outstanding. It does have that brighter red colors.
Wah, 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 wah.
And it has a nice upright habit.
Hey guys, make sure to tip your bartenders. Tim will be here all weekend.
This does have a really nice upright habit. It really has more of that airy appearance that gives you that sort of bamboo feel out there in the garden. If you're in traditional Japanese gardening, this gives you color, that extra flair, but also that oriental appeal out there in the garden and landscape.
I absolutely love it. I have a huge one of these in my landscape. Maybe we'll go do a feature out this spring. It's probably 15 to 20 feet at this point. Real nice canopy to it. Great fall colors when it gets into some of those brighter red fall colors. Just an all-around great plant and some good sizes on these right now. These are our 2-gallon XL Bini Otakis.
One of the things I like about this tree too is this vigorous at a young age. I mean, it will take off and make an established tree out there pretty quickly.
Let's hop around back. What we got here, Tim?
Guys, next up, we're bringing back 3 gallons of Acer Pomatum Orangeola.
If your New Year's resolution's to plant a dadgum Orangeola, we got you on this 10 at 10. These are excellent sizes. These are large, 3 gallons. Good weeping establishment to these already. Now, they are high grafted, so you get that standard look to them, but they're going to spread out from there and make that low cascading, more of a bell shape. Now, think of Orangeola as one that's going to have more of an overall bell-like canopy than an umbrella. So it kind of goes straight down. It's one of the most pendulous of any of the lace leaves.
Now, not only is it one of the most cascading selections, but the color changes to this. It gives you 23 different flavors. I mean, what this thing does is it keeps putting on a lot of different colors, of deep maroon to light red to green red over top of the green. And the new growth flushes keep happening, changes throughout the seasons. And this goes to more of an orange red in the fall.
It's got more red colors to it than Tim's beard. You're going to love this one. Hey, I'm kidding, bro. Your beard's only red and gray. But awesome plant. Love this one. It really shows out. Again, my favorite time for this one is midsummer. In the summer, you get some greener, older growth, orange new growth, and then kind of pink-red new growth on top of that. So I think that's actually my favorite time frame is like early June.
Yeah, I agree with you. The midsummer colors are some of the most outstanding. And this is a tree, if you don't have it in the garden, you definitely should. It's won a Maple of the Year with the North American Maple Society. It is an award winner out there. I mean, it shines. It does everything you want. And I was shocked to know that this is one of our top selling red lace leaves.
Awesome plant. Also won the Royal Horticultural Award of Merit. Check out Orangeola in some nice size 3s.
Guys, next up, we got Acer Pomatum Strawberry Spring.
Strawberry Spring, great new ghost introduction by Talon Buckholtz. If your New Year's resolution is to plant a new ghost, we got one of them here today. Strawberry Spring is an excellent plant with some intense spring interest. I've been seeing this pop up in a lot of those top 5s. A lot of you guys have been saying one of your top 5 trees last year, it hit so many times, Strawberry Spring.
If you see this tree in the springtime, it's going to get in that top 5 list. I mean, it has that pink, that baby pink, that's just outstanding. Light pink reticulated veins that just rocks it. You know, oddly enough, it's pretty awesome late spring when you start getting some of that lime green colors in that reticulation as well. This is a tree, it's a showstopper. It gives you a color that wasn't really out there before Strawberry Spring came out. This is a game changer in the garden, and it makes a big and bold statement.
If you're looking to plant more pink trees, Strawberry Spring really shows out. It adds a ton of diversity to the garden. It's beautiful, especially around yellows and some of the darker greens. It really shows out nicely. I love what Strawberry Spring brings. And who didn't want something with spring in the title, right? We're looking forward to spring. It's right around the corner. It'll be springtime before you know it.
Now, take Strawberry Spring, give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun, but make sure to give it some sunlight to really peak that pink color on this one. If you get some protection from the hot afternoon sun, it'll hold that pink color longer throughout the season. This is one that is one of my favorite Japanese maples. You definitely should be trying this one.
Hey, if you don't have a New Year's resolution yet, make your 2024 New Year's resolution to plant more trees. We appreciate you watching us here on the Mr. Maple Show.
Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.